Urgent! Ukraine is ramping up drone production and astonishing the world with its super missiles. This weapon is already on the front lines. A deadly trap for the enemy. The skies over Ukraine are under control. A new air defense system is turning Russian drones to ashes. State-of-the-art interceptors are already on combat alert. A black day for the Kremlin. No fuel, no army, and no chance. Ukrainian drones have paralyzed Russia's fuel industry. Kilometer-long lines and panic at gas stations. A complete failure of the so-called special military operation. Soldiers refuse to go to the front even for money. The Kremlin is in hysteria. All this and more in our episode Hellpoint. A breakthrough in the domestic defense industry, 3,000 units per month. Ukraine has matched the production rate of long-range drones with Russia's Shaheds. What's more, Ukraine has unveiled an ultra-modern and extremely powerful new generation weapon that has already stunned the Russians. The long-range Flamingo missile, a new weapon for the armed forces of Ukraine. Its specifications shock everyone.
Ukraine has increased the production rate of long-range FP-1 drones to a level comparable to Russia's Shaheds. The drone, which was unveiled in May 2025, is already being produced at a rate of about 100 units per day, or 3,000 per month. This was reported by the military portal Defense Express, According to the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, the current production rate of Shaheds in Russia as of midsummer was also about 100 units. The purchase price of a single Russian Shahed as of 2023 is also known. It amounts to $193,000, whereas the Ukrainian FP-1 drone costs about $55,000.
At the beginning of the week, Ukraine's Minister of Defense, Denis Shmyhal, confirmed the existence of the sensational long-range missile Flamingo in the arsenal of the Ukrainian army. Since most international partners refuse to provide Ukraine with long-range weapons, these domestically produced cruise missiles are of great importance for Ukraine's defense, writes the Associated Press.
This is a powerful weapon, long-range, very powerful, and it exists. These are the key details, and everything else we will find out when the right time comes.
And now, Western journalists have been given an exclusive opportunity to visit one of the secret underground factories of the Ukrainian company Firepoint. It is there that both the Flamingo missiles, with a range of over 3,000 kilometers, and drones capable of covering up to 1,600 kilometers are produced.
Ukrainian weapon production.
The production of Ukrainian weapons is a huge guarantee not only of Ukraine's independence but also of European independence and security across the entire continent, because right now Ukraine is holding this barrier and, so to speak, exporting security to other countries that stand behind it.
The launch of 10 to 15 Flamingo missiles at one of the military factories deep inside Russia could pose a serious challenge to the Russian military-industrial complex, writes the BBC. After all, a range of 3,000 kilometers would allow Ukraine to reach targets throughout the entire European part of Russia and even in the Urals and Tatarstan. By the way, from the Russian border to Yelabuga and Izhevsk, where Shaheds are produced, it is less than 1,500 kilometers. Ukraine can already reach these targets with long-range drones, but the combat payload of the Flamingo, over a ton of explosives, far exceeds the strike potential of unmanned aerial vehicles.
At its maximum range of 3,000 kilometers, the Flamingo can strike a target with an accuracy of up to 14 meters. Its maximum speed is 900 kilometers per hour. The cruising speed can vary. The payload capacity is 1,150 kilograms. At first, it was 1 ton, but then we found a way to increase it a bit. And the total launch weight of the missile is 6 tons. It is launched using solid rocket fuel and is equipped with a turbojet engine of our own production, as well as a solid fuel rocket booster, also of our own manufacture.
The company Firepoint emerged after the full-scale invasion. At first, they made inexpensive drones here. If 2 years ago production volumes reached 30 units per month, now it's about 100 drones per day, says the technical director.
There has never been a situation where our drones accidentally hit civilian infrastructure. Thanks to this, it's very convenient to plan a mission, making it both safe and highly precise. Also, our drones are 5 times cheaper than Shaheds, but they can fly a bit farther and carry a larger payload.
At first, Firepoint purchased navigation equipment for its drones from the West, but soon Russia was able to affect their effectiveness using electronic warfare measures. That's why Firepoint developed its own software, and now Ukrainian solutions are resistant to Russian electronic warfare. Alexander Mozhachuk, Priami Vikna, STB, United News.
Ukraine's technological breakthrough, its own guidance system and high-speed interceptors. The new air-to-air air defense system is already terrifying the occupiers. Ukraine has created an air defense system capable of protecting entire regions. The revolutionary system is already protecting Kyiv and Chernihiv regions. All the details are in the following report.
Ukraine now has one more new solution for protecting its skies. A domestic company has presented its own model of air defense. The system is capable of shooting down at least enemy drones from the air while scanning vast areas. A participant in the Defense Innovation Cluster, Maxon, is developing an air-to-air air defense system with its own guidance system and high-speed interceptors to protect large perimeters. Its development is already undergoing combat testing in the Kyiv and Chernihiv regions. Of course, there aren't many details about the new system. The development still remains classified. However, when talking about the air-to-air system class, it could involve several engineering solutions at once. These are interceptor drones, as well as UAVs equipped with strike capabilities.
We're talking about platforms that allow us to carry air-to-air missiles, and we're not limited to just the M9. We can also talk about the R-73. Although for some reason everyone calls it a Soviet missile, in reality it was developed in the Soviet era, but it has been significantly modernized. That's why we're saying that we've already found a comprehensive solution.
We are also actively developing the production of UAVs for intercepting enemy drones. The development announced by Minister Fedorov has its own guidance system. So this is entirely possible. The modernized drone scans the sky on its own, and if it detects a target, can identify, pursue, and destroy it.
And the key role in all of this is played by artificial intelligence, which is now indispensable. It handles both guidance and adaptation to scenarios. There are a lot of interesting things. But what lies ahead for us? First, indeed, we need to train operators and scale up production. There's nothing new I can say here, nothing genius to invent. This will provide good protection. They work in coordination with the General Staff and Air Defense Forces. Naturally, this should and will work not only for Kyiv.
Another important point in producing our own air defense systems is that Ukraine will not be dependent on the moods overseas or the capabilities of our European partners. It was stated that the system is entirely domestic, assembled jointly by various Ukrainian companies, and therefore there should be no issues with components, repairs, or maintenance.
Importantly, the Maxon technology integrates solutions from other Brave One participants. This is exactly how the cluster ecosystem works. Companies that develop effective solutions in different areas can combine them.
Analysts assure that this will also help provide air defense forces with a sufficient number of new systems. Once the system is certified by the Ministry of Defense, it can easily be mass-produced through the state procurement system and manufactured in whatever quantity the army requires.
If there is a comprehensive grant system in place, if we can provide significantly more financial funding and substantial support to our domestic drone manufacturers, actually there are approximately 800 distinct companies currently working within our military-industrial complex, and the vast overwhelming majority of these entities are private companies. That's how it is throughout the civilized world. In America, in European countries, in NATO, private manufacturers produce weapons, and they are ready to produce even more.
Ukraine's Ministry of Digital Transformation has already called the production of this system an event that could change the course of the war. All that's left is to wait for the results of the combat trials. Let me remind you, Ukrainian engineers have recently been developing new strike drones on a large scale, which will hunt down Shaheds. These drones operate on the principle of air defense missiles. They explode near enemy targets and hit them with shrapnel. Moreover, Ukraine has brought the scale of drone production to a new level. At the moment, our defense industry is capable of producing about 10 million drones annually, including those equipped with artificial intelligence.
We cannot effectively counter the enemy with the same amount of military equipment, advanced weaponry, or available manpower as the formidable Russian Federation does. That's precisely why we have decisively chosen the path of significant technological advancement.
Palmy collapse in the swamps. Russians are storming gas stations. Panic in the streets. Gas stations are paralyzed. Ukrainian drones have taken down the Russian oil system. The gasoline hysteria is gaining momentum. These scenes are blowing up the internet. Ukrainian drones have created real chaos in Russian oil refining. Drone attacks have forced Russia to say goodbye to more than 13% of its refinery capacity. For example, on August 2nd, drones struck the Novokuybishevsk refinery owned by Rosneft. This giant, which processes more than 8 million tons of oil annually, simply came to a standstill. 9 days later, on August 11th, the Saratov refinery, which also belongs to Rosneft and processes more than 5 million tons per year, was shut down. And on August 15th, the real climax arrived. The Volgograd refinery, the largest in southern Russia, and the Samara refinery, which processes 8 million tons annually, also fell victim to drone attacks. As a result, in just 3 weeks, Russia lost 443 million tons of annual capacity. That's 13.5% of their total output. What consequences is Russia already feeling from this? We've gathered information about this for you in our report.
In Primorsky Krai, there are kilometer-long lines at gas stations due to a fuel shortage.
This is what the line looks like on Melniknaya.
In short, this is the situation at Alliance.
Well, it's probably going to be a kilometer soon. Everyone here is waiting for some gas.
Currently, there are gasoline shortages in many regions of the Russian Federation. Earlier, in annexed Crimea, gas station problems arose due to the special military operation, and in Zabaikalsky Krai, gasoline started being sold with ration cards. The main reasons are inflation, high demand, and constant strikes on oil refineries. The last factor is becoming especially significant. Ukrainian drones attack Russian oil refineries almost every night. This is a strike on the Lukoil oil refinery in the Volgograd region, which is among the top 10 in Russia and is one of the largest producers of petroleum products in the southern federal district. Over the past week, Ukrainian UAVs have struck oil refineries 3 times already. The plant has ceased operations approximately until mid-September.
We are now seeing reports almost every day that major, significant oil refineries in the European part are being hit. The latest is the Lukoil plant in Volgograd, and drones are even reaching as far as the Ukhta plant in Komi, which also belongs to Lukoil. And some plants have simply shut down.
On August 2nd, after drone strikes, the Novokuybishevsk oil refinery halted its operations. On August 11th, the Saratov oil refinery stopped accepting raw materials. On August 15th, it became known that the Volgograd oil refinery had stopped operations. And on the same day, after a drone attack, the Samara oil refinery also stopped accepting oil for processing.
Drone raids on Russian oil refineries, which intensified in August and led to the shutdown of at least 4 major refineries, have deprived the economy of 1/7 of its most powerful oil refining capacity. Thus, in just under 3 weeks, oil producers lost 44.3 million tons of annual refinery capacity. That's minus 13.5% of the country's total, which amounts to 328 million tons per year.
According to Reuters, repairs at some plants will take at least a month, and the Samara refinery will be idle until the end of August. Repair difficulties are related to sanctions.
Western equipment for oil refineries was included in the European restrictive measures as part of the very first package, due to the invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. And this is causing disruptions. As a result, in 2025, Russia once again faced a gasoline shortage. Exchange prices for AI-92 and AI-95 have soared since the beginning of the year by 40% and 50% respectively, setting new historical records: 71,970 rubles per ton and 81,337 rubles per ton.
If Ukraine continues to strike Russian oil refineries, the problems with prices and the availability of gasoline in Russia will only get worse. And the current lines for fuel in some regions of Russia will seem like nothing compared to what could happen, say, in just a month.
If the Ukrainians ignore Biden's request not to strike oil terminals on the Black Sea, such as in Novorossiysk, Tuapse, or on the Baltic, where Ust-Luga and Primorsk are the 2 main terminals, and begin attacking them, this will seriously impact Russia's ability to export oil.
Strikes on Russian oil refineries and the resulting loss of capacity, as well as the potential for increased attacks, are a serious trump card for Zelensky.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism, and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.